What up, guys? So it's Sunday. I just got done doing a recovery session back there in the gym, mostly stretching and stuff like that. I showed some of you guys some of that in a recent video. But during my stretching session and my recovery session, I got a question from a young guy who said he let his coach down. So here's what happened. He said that this last year he has been competing. He's been winning tons of competitions. Every time he goes to a competition, he brings back multiple medals, mostly golds, but some silvers and bronze mixed in there. He said, getting ready for this competition, it's the biggest one in his country. Leading up to it, his coach was confident in him. His teammates were confident in him. They were all encouraging him, telling him how good he was going to do, all this stuff. He goes out to this competition and he loses first round, 2 points to the guy who would eventually win the bracket. That's something that's happened to a lot of us, isn't it? So he lost his match. And he says that, and he sent me the message, said, look, man, I let my coach down. What do I do? Now, my question to him was, what makes you think you let your coach down? His reply was that he did not live up to, the expectations they all had going in there, that he was going to do great. He didn't win, so he let him down. So my reply back to him was, by the way, if you guys ever ask me questions online or through email or whatever, you'll probably get a question back. His question to me, or to my question back to him was, well, what based upon their actions have made you that make you think that they actually are let down by your performance? And so he sends me a message back. He said, well, now that you mention it, my coach actually told me right after I walked off the mat that, it's okay, we all lose, and that he's lost more than he can count. So maybe it's just all in my head. And that's what I was trying to get you to think about, because especially after a loss, very easy to go down that negative loop in your head, right? But here's the reason why I'm posting this video. These videos stay up for a long time. That question's very common. I get it all the time. And here's what I want you to think about. If you're coming off a loss, you think you let your coach down, I want you to chew on this idea, okay? Anyone that has competed, that has accessed that warrior side of themselves, especially in a combat sports situation where we're gonna fight someone in a ring, a cage, or a mat. When anybody that's done that, they understand how tough it is leading up to the match, right? So the day of, when you're getting ready to get out there, that is a tough period of time. The waiting game is one of the worst things to deal with. Anybody will tell you that. The worst part about getting ready to fight or compete is the wait. We hate waiting. We just want to be out there. Why do we hate waiting? Because that friggin' loop that goes on in your head is a monster. You'll go back and forth between, am I good enough? Of course I'm good enough. Did I do enough? I trained really hard for this. And you're just constantly battling all this stuff in your head. And even good people do this, right? So what they're doing, whether they know it or not, when they're encouraging you the day of that competition especially, when they're cheering you on, when they're telling you you're going to do great, they're trying to remind you of how much they believe in you. Because on the day of, it is so easy to not believe in yourself. It's so easy to forget. Right? Because they can look at you objectively and say, man, I look how hard you're training. I can see how good you're doing. But yourself, you're always going to be overcritical, right? You're going to question yourself. Did I train enough? Did I do enough? Even if you've won competitions before, like for me, I've gone to competitions that I won previously the year before, and I get there and I'm like, oh, am I good enough to win it again? These things just go through your head, right? And so they're just there. They're encouraging you to remind you. But something that all competitors, all people that have tapped into that before, one thing that they also know, besides that, of course, about how tough it is the day of, one thing that they also know is that you're going to lose. Everybody knows it. That's why your coach patted you on the shoulder and said, hey, listen, it's cool. I've lost more than I can count. I'm with him. I know all of my black belt losses, but I couldn't tell you all my white, blue, purple, brown losses. I don't remember them all. Too many to count. It's part of the ride. Anyone that decides to compete, we all understand you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And so when you lose, they're not let down. They know you can't win them all. Everybody loses. Even the best people lose. But they're going to push you forward. They're going to encourage you going into it. There's a funny sort of contrast to this. If you go watch, there's a pretty popular video of Muhammad Ali right before he fought George Foreman in the famous Rumble in the Jungle fight, right? He's getting ready to go out there. He looks behind him, and the whole entourage, the whole damn group, just kind of sitting there with sullen faces. He comments to him and says, why do you all look like you're going to the funeral? I'm the one that's going to fight George Foreman. Then he goes on and tells him if you're going to go out there, you can't cheer me on, just smile. And so you can see, like, that would be a weird place to be. Imagine, bro, you went to your match and you went out there and you're trying to talk yourself up and you're battling with this negative self-talk that's especially difficult as a young competitor. Now imagine that your teammates aren't cheering you on. They're not patting you on the shoulders, not slapping you on the shoulders and saying, let's go, bro, you got this. They're just kind of quiet. It would be even worse to deal with, because then you would be wondering, maybe they know something that I don't. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, right? So again, you didn't let anybody down. Of course you didn't. I guess if someone's coach actually said, you let me down, maybe there's a reason to it. Because to me, if you put in the work, you put in the time, you went out there and you went after it and you laid it out on the line, that's worth respect. Win or lose, things happen. Nobody can win them all. There's no disrespect there. There's no letdown there. You stepped up to the plate. You did the damn thing. And so again, just an idea to chew on. If you guys think that you let your coach down, more than likely it's in your head. So anyway, guys, that's the idea. I'm going to go home and get my meal prep started. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday. I'll talk to you next time.